everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I'm back with another speed build and another installment of the squish, which is what we affectionately call tiny houses here on the channel, as you're squishing as much as you can into such a small space. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, and I was just really in the mood to create sort of like a little cottage. So we are building on the island in Windenburg on one of my favorite lots mid-nowhere and creating a tiny one-bedroom cottage on the coast. I was imagining that this was a home for one sim who enjoys a little bit of a quieter life, especially because they are on this island. There's not a lot of close proximity to anything else, and they enjoy their very small space. They also have a kind of decent sized fenced in yard, and their neighbors are not very close by. I did give them some gardening plots outside, as well as chickens for eggs and also companionship. I think the chickens in The Sims 4 are so cute, and this house comes together pretty well. I did change my mind many times on the outside on what color, and it looks like I left in a lot of that footage, but I knew from the start that I really wanted to use these windows from Cottage Living, and I would say the most used packs in this build are Cottage Living and Horse Ranch. I was really going for like cozy cottage sort of country vibes, so you'll see that when we get to the interior. I'm really proud of how this one came out, and if you do want to download this, it will be available in the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find it under the hashtag Gryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. And before we get any further into this video, I just wanted to take a moment to thank today's sponsor. Thank you so much to Factor for sponsoring today's video. Factor is a meal delivery service that sends you fresh, never frozen, chef-crafted meals straight to your door, and they're ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Factor's no-hassle prepared foods make sure you always have something nutritious on hand when you're too busy to think about cooking. I often find myself forgetting to eat or grabbing snacks or takeout when I'm gaming and editing, but Factor has helped me to break that cycle with over 35 weekly options, including Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, Vegan, and Veggie. And Factor now offers loads of snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juices, small bites, and more to keep me going no matter what's on my schedule. In this week's box, I enjoyed potato leek mash and grilled chicken. It was a delicious lunch, and it only took 2 minutes in the microwave. Such a time saver for those busy work days. So if you'd like to try Factor for yourself and support my channel in doing so, you can use the link in my description and use code GryphiOG50 for 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. Thank you again to Factor for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to it. So just placing some of these plain columns on the corners of the build to add a little bit more definition and have like framing on each side. Those ones are from Get Together, and then I also added these really cute flower boxes to the windows, which are actually from the latest pack, Love Struck. I loved the yellow swatch because I think yellow and blue look amazing together. So I did try to add a few yellow accents throughout the interior of this build as well, and the exterior. But I would say the main colors I'm using are probably blue and green, which I thought looked really nice. And we are working on the floor plan now because I just wanted to make sure I didn't need to extend the size of this house before I fully did all of the landscaping outside, which I did extend it ever so slightly for the bedroom space, which is what I am doing right now, which I think worked out nicely. It is still considered a tiny house. I think it's 42 tiles in the end. A couple of those are roof tiles that I used to get some trim. So it's actually slightly smaller than that, but it's not quite a micro home. But I thought that that was okay. But let me know if you'd like to see some more micro homes on the channel or more tiny houses in general. I know I used to do them a ton, and it was very mixed on whether or not you liked that or you really did not like that. But I do them now whenever I feel inspired to do so. And yeah, let me know if there's any specific ones you would like to see or styles or anything like that. I have mentioned recently in a community tab post that I am starting to pre-record for TwitchCon next month. I will be in San Diego for that. So I'm trying to get some videos done ahead so I can make sure I am posting while I'm gone. So any suggestions you have are greatly appreciated. But anyway, I am continuing to work on the landscaping now that the floor plan has been figured out. And I really liked how the mailbox perfectly matched the color I put on the exterior of the build. I added a circular window up here. I wasn't sure about it at first, but I do think it looks quite cute. And I am now digging through Live Edit to get all sorts of greenery for this lot. And I grabbed that like little flower pot to put next to the front door as well, which I thought was quite cute. I do end up mostly using greenery that came with the Get Together Live Edit, since this build is in Windenburg, which came with Get Together. So of course those plants are going to make the most sense, but I do use them from a variety of packs. This is not a limited pack build, although that is on my to-do list for sometime in the next few weeks. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, just getting some more overgrown grasses around here, all sorts of plants. I wanted it to mostly be greenery, but I do add a little bit of color. So later on, I'll be adding some yellow plants, actually towards the end of the build, from Cottage Living Debug, which is my favorite like live edit objects catalog. The things that came with Cottage Living are so beautiful. And since I was really using that for kind of the vibe on the inside of this house, I thought it made sense to include a little bit of it outside as well. I got a flower arranging table over here with a couple of plants next to it, and then there ends up being more gardening space in the fenced-in portion of the yard as well. And I added a bunch of sunflowers over here, and I actually ended up using tulle to scale them so that they looked a little bit more realistic sizing, like variation. So just playing around with that now. I kept clicking on the wrong ones, so you get to see that process. But I ended up having a bunch of those over here, which I thought looked quite nice. And I added some like planter soil and stuff over there as well. And then we're moving inside to start figuring out what sort of flooring and wallpaper I wanted to use. I ended up using a flooring from the Spooky Day stuff pack, which I really like this flooring. I don't use it that often, but whenever I do, I'm like, why don't I use this more often? It's a really dated flooring, and I thought it just fit the vibe I had for in here so well. And the kitchen might be my favorite room. It's the size of most bathrooms I make. It's a 6-tile, like 2x3 kitchen, but I think it ends up being so cozy. I added so much clutter in here. You can see me trying to place these shelves very precisely at the correct heights by lining them up with where they had been placed before, but I wanted to have them kind of like tucked into the wall there, but still be at correct heights. And then I'm starting to decorate them. I have plates and cups and like plants and all sorts of stuff up here, and I just think it ends up being so cute. Here's that pop of yellow I had mentioned, so I have some sunflowers inside. And then I'm just lowering this shelf. I added a teapot up here. I should be also getting a candle and this really pretty painting from Cats and Dogs. And that should be it for the shelves. And then I ended up actually using some curtains from Cats and Dogs as well, which I think are quite pretty, and using this wallpaper from Base Game, which I actually really like. For a long time, I was like, oh, it's such an ugly wallpaper. I'll only use it if I really want an ugly kitchen, which is strange because I think it is so cute, especially for this style of home. I really enjoyed that. I loved the yellow and the green, and it worked really nicely with having a towel hanging in front of the sink as well, which I also achieved using the tool mod. And then this is going to be our very small bathroom. It's just a 2x2, and I end up just using a Base Game shower with this sink from Horse Ranch and a Base Game toilet. And I'm gonna have to playtest this room, but I have used this layout before and it's been not a problem, but I'm just gonna make sure this works before I upload it to the gallery. There's a couple of little things I just want to confirm, so I will double check those. So there might be a couple of things that are slightly different in the version that you grab off the gallery if there's any issues. So yeah, just finishing up the bathroom, I added a painting in there, and now we are in the hallway where I added temperature controls, a fire alarm, and this little cow, which is really cute. That's a Base Game item, I'm pretty sure, and I never use it because most houses I don't want a little, I think that one might be more of a copper color. There's a couple of different swatches on it, but I don't usually want like a little metal cow on the wall, but it seemed like a cute idea for this build. And you could probably rearrange things outside to make the yard slightly larger if you wanted to have cows or llamas instead of chickens, but I liked the idea of chickens. But yeah, in here I am decorating the living room. I ended up using this couch from Crystal Creations and adding a couple of those pillows on it. And I've actually really been enjoying this artwork from Lovestruck that has all of these different sort of family portraits. I think it is so cute, and I really enjoy adding that into family rooms. I did imagine there was only one sim living here, but they probably have family that comes to visit, or they go and visit other family, and it's really important to them, but they also enjoy their quiet little lifestyle here on this island. I also grabbed a chair from Cats and Dogs over here, which I thought was quite cute, and I enjoyed the sort of custom coffee tables I made here with they're not that custom, but one of them is a coffee table from, I believe, Desert Luxe, and the other one's technically a chair from Jungle Adventure. It's a little stool, but I really enjoy using that as a coffee table. I think it looks so nice and realistic. Your Sims technically can sit on that, so that's a little strange, but I thought it looked nice. And then for the TV area, I have a dated TV from the Basement Treasures kit, some old games, and some flowers and stuff as well. And then over by the front door, I just wanted to add a space for you to hang up your coat and get an umbrella. I am going to change the side the umbrellas are on though, because I did want to add shoes, and I liked the Base Game ones better in this instance than the ones that are from Dream Home Decorator, which I use more often. And I also used this lamp from Cats and Dogs, which I never use, but it matched perfectly with the blue that I was using in this room. So I really enjoyed that. And then we are moving on to the one and only bedroom in this house. Once again, using Cats and Dogs for the bed. And then this rug is actually from Growing Together, and the side table is from Horse Ranch. I used a mixture of those packs in this build, plus a bunch of other like little knickknacks here and there, like the tray that I have on the table is from Tiny Living, and the clutter is all from the Everyday Clutter Kit. But like the big pieces are mostly Cats and Dogs, Horse Ranch, and Cottage Living, and Base Game. So a big combination of those, like this dresser from Horse Ranch, I thought was quite nice. Pretty substantial piece in the corner. I feel like that could fit a lot of clothing. And then we are heading outside as the inside is pretty much done now, and I am figuring out the backyard. I knew I wanted to have this umbrella, so I will figure that out towards the end, but I am just adding some more rocks as a pathway to the backyard, or the side yard, I suppose. You exit through the back of the house, but most of it's on the side of the house. And this is where I'm going to have some more greenery, some chickens, a place for your Sims to relax at a table, as well as a barbecue, some more planters. There ends up being a decent amount of outdoor activities. You could probably add some more if you wanted to. I feel like a hot tub would be nice out here. I don't think a pool would fit very nicely, but if you wanted to do that, you could. Also, maybe like a telescope or something could be fun. There's a lot of different things, but I was just imagining a nice, simple, quiet life for this sim. So I did add these chickens, and I liked that the roof texture was actually the same as the one I was using here. I think technically the swatch I'm using on the roof is a blue swatch, which I never use. But I picked it based on the little like roof decoration I chose that looks a little bit like a bump out in the roof or a dormer. And so I just matched it to that. So that is why I'm using this roof texture in this color, which is nice because like I never use it. And it's always kind of fun when you're using different items in the game because we all have our favorites and go to those the most often. So it was quite fun to play around with that. I know it's been, actually, speaking of that, a while since I did this, but I might do another build sometime soon where I use items that I don't normally use, like use items I dislike or I just never pick, because I did that years ago, but I think that might be another fun thing to do sometime soon. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing, because like I said, we all do have our favorite items that we tend to go back for every time, so that might be an interesting build to do. But yeah, we're just adding some more greenery. Here are those yellow plants I had mentioned from Cottage Living Debug. They are so pretty. I scaled a couple of them, but most of them I kept at their normal size. And then I'm just adding some more terrain paint here to add some dirt under the rocks. I kind of mixed in a sand and a dirt throughout this lot to make it feel a little bit more beachy since it is near the shore, but also make sure that it looked realistic with dirt under things that dirt would be under. And then I'm just grabbing a trash can here, and I'll get some planters as well as a picnic bench that I'm going to put the umbrella through. So that is pretty much it for this build. I really hope you enjoyed this one. I had a blast with it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Also, make sure you check out that link down below for Factor to get 50% off your first order and 20% off your next box of orders. They have been such a big support of the channel this year, and if you'd like to support, that is a great way to do so, is interacting with these sponsors. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you again to Factor for sponsoring, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.